Okay, welcome back to Plastic Models by a Regular Dude and the M Group build update number 3. Just last video I finished 5, 6, and 7, and now it is time to go to steps 8 and 9. More of the upper hull parts, including some photo etch. So I'm going to start cutting parts off, getting them all ready, and then talk a little bit about what's going on. Okay, before I start chopping these up, I want to make a quick notation on the photo etch parts for this kit. Now, this is quite a bit thicker than I'm used to working with photo etch, but that's okay because these are brush guards, so it's not a complaint, it's just, you know, just an observation. But one thing that I really like, and this may be something common because I haven't really used a whole lot of photo etch, but on this, I don't know if you can really tell, but this side support, and I've got a photo up right here on my phone of the real deal, and this side support right here is actually photo etch fabricated to where it looks like it's on top of the loop part here and here on both these brush guards. And as you can see on the real deal, that's the way they are, because this side part is welded onto the loop, and that's the way it looks on here. So that's just a little, you know, observation on my part. Maybe that's really super common with photo etch parts, but I've never seen it like that, and I've used photo etch on other armored vehicles. So that's just kind of something that's kind of cool, and just thought I'd bring that up. So I'll get my stuff together and start getting ready to cut this out. Okay, so I left off with the photo etch, and as you can see, I've got one piece cut out. And real briefly, the way I do it, and this isn't anything special, it's just the way I do it, but I use this type of blade on my X-Acto knife, and I've got this piece of tile I picked up for 48 cents plus tax, so it was like 53 cents for this piece of tile from the local home improvement center. And it makes a really good cutting surface because it doesn't mar, and stays nice and shiny and smooth, so it's really good for cutting photo etch. And all I do, it's really simple, is I just get up as close to the part as possible and just pop it. And I did that with this one here, and as you can see, it's ready to be bent, and I have some just very, very, very light filing to do here and here where I cut it. I didn't get it quite close enough, but it won't take long. And in order to facilitate those parts, I should have done this, and I don't know why I didn't before I started gluing these parts on, is I'm going to have to trim off, cut off, sand off, file off, whatever, these demarcations here for the kit plastic brush guards. So I'm going to have to cut those off. I have to be real careful. Shouldn't be an issue, but you know, again, I should have done that, and I should have planned ahead, but I didn't. Should have done it before I glued these parts on, but they're there, so I'm gonna have to get cracking. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim these off and get one of the guards bent, and I'll show a difference between the photo etch and the kit light guards. Okay, so I'll get moving on that and come back. Okay, so here are the kit styrene and photo etch light guards, and as you can see, there is a ginormous difference in the way they look. The styrene one is just horrible. I mean, this is especially bad. The ones in, like, say, the last Tamiya kit, the last Tamiya Sherman I built, they were much more delicate than this and much more refined in the molding. Granted, it is a new tool kit, but this is just, even some older kits I've worked with, the styrene ones are way better than these. These are really, really bad, as you can see on the side detail or lack thereof. It's just, man, it'd take a lot of cleanup to get that even looking halfway decent. You know, in contrast, look at the photo etch. I mean, it looks just really, really, really good. And I'm the type of person that I don't believe that photo etch is necessary sometimes, just for the sake of having it. But in a case like this is a perfect example of where photo etch is 100 times more superior than the kit parts. So I've got the it was actually quite easy, even with these parts all installed. The demarcations where the plastic, where the styrene guard is supposed to go, I've got those all trimmed off, so I'm ready to do the other photo etch guard, and then I will attach those to the front of the hull with some super glue and move on. Okay, so I got the next part bent into shape, and it's this guard here that goes over the horn on front of the vehicle. And the difference between this and the others is it's got an extra cross piece. As you can see here, it's 2 pieces. Now I'm going to carefully try and show you what these look like. So here is the cross piece that I had to glue together. Okay, I had to glue those 2 pieces together there. That was quite harrowing, very small. And the small crossbar there, whilst holding it with the tweezers, pa-ting, off she went. But I found it, it was pretty easy. So anyway, there's the cross part. Now the cross part fits in another piece like this. Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to zoom in here if possible and show you how I actually formed that, because it is important that you get it. It has to be the right width for this crossbar here. Okay, it's got to fit in between there. So what I did to get that the right size, and this takes some pretty technical and specialized equipment to do this. So it's called a paintbrush handle, and as you can see, this is quite technical and quite finely made instrument of machinery here. So anyway, kidding aside, what I did is I took the piece, which is flat, and I bent it around the handle, being very careful to make sure that I didn't get any kinks in the loop part. Okay, and I did it on a part that I knew was going to be too large, so I did it about right here on this particular handle, and I bent it, and then I did a little test fit by holding, hopefully this won't go out of focus, holding in between there to see if the distance matched, and it didn't. It was too large, which I knew it would be because I wanted to gradually make it smaller. So what I did is I just went down the taper of the handle here, squeezing, test fit, squeeze, test fit, till finally I was pretty far down here. But the thing to remember is even when you think it's going to be too tight, because when you squeeze it, these 2 points here are going to be smashed in like this. So as you prime apart, it's going to increase the radius on that loop. So the farther down you go, when you increase the radius, it'll be smaller gradually each time, till finally it'll be just the right size. So basically that's how I did it. And then once you get that, then you want to, these back legs here, you want to spread those out to where they're parallel to each other. And then I can use some super glue and glue this in place. So that's basically how I did it. Again, really specialized tool there, huh? I think everybody's got those in their toolkit. But I got the light guards on, and as you can see, they are quite fine and quite to scale. They look really good. Like them. They work. So anyway, I'll go ahead and continue on with this other loop. Then I will be making 2 more photo etch parts for back here. I'm not going to talk about that because I've already shown how to do it. So I'll just get them installed and we can move on to the next part. Okay, I've now completed steps 8, 9, and 10, which finishes off the upper hull parts. Everything went together fine. The photo etch, a little patience, I was able to get those done and looking dandy. Looks kind of upside down. Let's do it like that. This one was somewhat, could have been somewhat tricky, but it worked out fine. So that is all completed. All the tools have been installed on the back deck. A note about the tools, or a few notes actually. There's not really any clearly defined places on the hull for the tools. All you have is just the illustration to go off of on the instructions. So you know, they don't fit exactly like you might think, but there's a little bit of leeway, I guess. So that's good. Another note on the tools is the sprue that the tools came on, which is let's see. Sorry guys, sprue D. There is no date on this one. It is labeled 135th Sherman series right there on this tab, and apparently it's been through quite a few kits. Most of the detail is pretty good. There's a few seams to clean up, but I'm thinking it's an older sprue, and if that's the case, it's still in pretty good shape. The packs, for instance, for extra stowage, those look good. The machine guns look decent for, you know, one-piece molded items, so not bad. They're okay. So the only other thing to make note of is the exhaust shroud in the back. It doesn't have like a really, it's got a real vague line underneath there where it's supposed to attach, but the part that attaches to the back of the hull, it's not really flat, but it went on there okay. It's on there straight. It's just, you know, be careful and pay attention. Other than that, that takes care of steps 8, 9, and 10. So step 11, as you can see here, begins the turret. So I'm going to end this video with finishing up step 10, and I'll pick it up again on the next video, which will start with step 11. So as always, thanks for watching. Any comments, questions, etc., put those down below, and I'll see you next time.